Well, it's certainly going to be the year of living unexpectedly, partly because we really don't know what kind of deal yet will emerge from the second stage of talks on Brexit with the EU, partly also because the global economy, although strong, has some headwinds, not least the presidency of Donald Trump and those nuclear and security standoffs that come in its wake.
I think it's going to be a very unsettling year. There's so much up in the air, there's so much uncertainty that we need to draw lines across certain issues such as direction on Brexit, what's going on with Russia and its funding around the world, because I don't think that's getting enough attention at the moment. You know, we should be concerned about their agenda across different Western countries, in Europe, in the UK and America. And also, I think that we need to have a sense of what's going on globally from the point of view of Trump's foreign policy. So it will be an interesting year, if not dangerous, then definitely very uncertain.
The global economy is looking relatively perky. We're seeing very strong growth. I think that's going to continue. The capex cycle is doing very well. So I'm relatively optimistic about the outlook for 2018.
I think one thing that took us by surprise was Nigel Farage's kind of salto, really, on a second referendum. There was a view that people who want a second referendum tend to be in favour of remaining and that Brexiteers wouldn't touch one with a barge pole. I think he's called the bluff of Remain in the first few weeks of the year. Let's see how that plays out.
Two things have surprised me hugely. One, Mr. Farage coming out and saying that we might be time for a second referendum or to think about it, and his motivations behind that. But to my mind, that's a huge positive, but a great surprise. And I think the other surprise is that there wasn't more of a significant reshuffle in the Conservative cabinet, because you still have they overpromised. You know, two things you should never do in business is overpromise and underdeliver. And I have a feeling that they did with that reshuffle. And if that sets the tone for this year, we're not going to be seeing a much stronger Conservative government, which is not good for us.
Absolutely, and I think when you look at, for example, the UK economy, we have plenty of reasons to be optimistic, even with Brexit. I think Brexit's one of those things which is a big risk, and it will limit the rate of growth that the UK sees in the economy relative to its peers.
I'm really excited, I don't know about cheerful, excited about the number of people who are suddenly talking about politics and getting involved. And, you know, because as a country you could argue that we got into the state we did because people became slightly lazy or irresponsible in keeping their eyes on politicians, on people at the top of business, and just not exercising their civic duty. So that, to me, is very positive, that we have so many people talking about things that are important to our country domestically, but globally. And I think everyone should be pleased about that.
One reason to be sanguine, if not cheerful, is that the UK government, which looked so shaky in 2017, now looks like a stable entity, whether one likes it or doesn't relish it so much. The other reason is that the global economy is looking strong. The rising tide should lift all boats. That includes Britain, even after Brexit.